Hey, it's James, Father's Rights and Resources, hashtag how I got custody. So, you are in shock when you go to family court. When you're blindsided, unless you guys have it planned out and you're mutually agreeing to a divorce, separation, and going to court. But most of you guys following me got shocked when you were served court papers. I kind of got blindsided to a point. I kind of knew it was coming because I found out a cop came to my home while I was at work and they were calling me trying to serve me something. But there's still the shock of going to court the first time. You walk in there, they treat you like an animal if you're a dad, especially if you're accused of harassment or domestic violence or something stupid like that. I walked into court, the mom, her female co-worker, the judge's bailiff was giving me an attitude. I felt the heat of the room as soon as I walked in. And then I gave him advance notice of a witness I was going to bring. And so she brought a couple more witnesses for the next continued hearing. And then I was continually in a state of, it's kind of like if you study narcissist abuse. It's like the court system is a big monster of a narcissist themselves. And they abuse you and pound away at you. Just like, people of color or low-income people talk about how the court system did them, And that's kind of how things happen with the court system. So that being said, you do go into court and get shocked by how they treat you, how you're not treated fairly, how attorneys get to abuse the system. The opposing attorney in my case used to call me fat, ugly, dumb. I had state health insurance for my daughter one time. He wrote the he wrote the child support office and said I was just calling to see what you guys are doing next for child support and find out what a welfare bum the dad has been. Just insult after insult after I have custody. If you talk about a mother the way that he talked about me after I got custody, you'd be getting a restraining order. I took him to restraining order court twice. And there's a judge who almost gave him a restraining order. Another judge said it's a free country, you could say whatever you want. So he said it was okay for him to harass me, which means it's okay for me to harass them if you flip it around. But anyway, I've told you guys many times before, I used to hate going to my mailbox because I didn't want to open an envelope from her attorney to learn the next hostile, harassing allegation against me for some stupid reason. So I was in a constant state of being on edge and in shock. But guess what? Back to that war analogy. If somebody bombs us, when we were hit 9/11, everybody's in shock for a while, and then everybody rallied to do something about it. Now, I think we did the wrong thing about it. That's a whole nother matter. But if somebody bombs us or bombs the country or invades your home, you don't sit around and contemplate how horrible of a victim you are. You fight. That's what men are made to do. That's why we're considered toxic, having toxic masculinity, because we're able to be off at a war and have our buddies' brains blown out right next to us and keep moving when the adrenaline's going when we're in the middle of a fight. Women are a little different when it comes to that. So, but men are able to set aside their emotions in the moment of battle and things like that. And then you might go back and, later that night when you go back to camp, you might cry yourself to sleep because you just lost your buddy or whatever. But I've been through it. Some of you guys whine, cry, and complain in the comments and about how insensitive I am because of my tone and how it hurts your feelings. I've been where you're at, and I endured it for 20 years. I was in and out of court for 20 years. Just think about having to deal with being falsely accused for 20 years, being dragged into court. All I wanted to do was raise my daughter. Even after I got custody, my baby's mom was allowed to be dragged into court because I had a judge who hated me because I got him reversed in the Court of Appeals. And I told everybody in videos, and I emailed everybody at the courthouse my court order winning and showing them what an idiot they had for a presiding lead judge. That being said, I had to endure, if you talk about the length of endurance, I had to endure 10 times as long as most of you guys. Now, some of you who are the non-custodial parent, you know, you have to endure the control of the mother until your kids are 18. But a lot of you guys, that's your fault, because you didn't even fight for 50-50. You didn't even fight for custody. You settled at mediation. You sold out, and you quit on your kids, and you have what you deserve. Because I went to war and I went all out, despite the pain and suffering and the nights I cried myself to sleep, or I would go to work, driving to work, talking to myself, I can't believe you did this to me. I can't believe this is going on. I can't, or I'd rehearse what happened at the hearing, and I can't believe this judge said that and didn't punish her or fully punish her. Now, I won most of my hearings, but it's still in your mind, there's the torment of, why doesn't this chick just settle with me? Why doesn't she just work it out? Because a lot of these women are stupid airheads who follow the lead of their attorney, and they don't think logically. And at the end of your court case, a lot of them will say, like my baby's mom, there's one, I haven't talked to her in 23 years, except for a couple 1 week periods of time. I wish we could have been civil and worked it out, but oh well. She's not my girlfriend. I wasn't in love with her. You know, I loved her dearly as a friend for the longest time, and that's how we got into a relationship. But I cared more about my daughter than maintaining it being cool with her. So, you know, so the couple of moments that we did talk, one time she said, yeah, I'm going to be in debt for the rest of my life with these attorneys. I could have just saved that money for a college fund. I'm like, yeah, no shit, you dumbass, airheaded, stupid Jezebel hoe. Why did you even continually sign off on the paperwork? You know, she went to court saying that I should be able to have a few hours at a time, but that's it, or a couple hours because she was breastfeeding. Next thing you know, down the road, I'm getting 5 days a week. A couple months later, I'm getting 5 days a week visitation. Then I get full custody. What were you even fighting for? Stupid airheaded, dumbed down, moronic, vindictive psycho bitch. To her own detriment, and to our daughter's detriment. She wanted to go to war and fight over a bunch of stupid stuff. Her loss, though, you know, her own stupidity. But that's the type of stuff I dealt with, and that's frustrating on my end. Like, why don't you just logically work this stuff out and be civil like the plan that we had before? Why don't we just work this out? Save everybody the hassle. So, in any case, I've been through the torment and pain, and while enduring that pain, I had to move forward. My life with my kid was at stake. And the more you guys curl up in a ball in a corner and don't fight because you want to wallow in your trauma and the shock, the more painful it is. It's going to be painful no matter what. Why don't you just endure the pain and move forward and give yourself a chance to get something fair that you'll be satisfied with later on? Why don't you do that? Makes sense. You know, and you might have a great result that might, you know, make you feel better the rest of your life and alleviate the pain, like getting 50-50 or getting control or getting off a supervised visitation. As long as you sit back and wallow and don't do anything, nothing's going to happen. Now, if you get on the offensive and go to war, you might not win, but it's a guarantee if you don't fight and stand up and do something therapeutic like getting on the offensive, then you will lose. So, despite the shock, despite getting blindsided and bombed like Red Dawn, or a movie where, you know, at the beginning there's an opening scene and everybody, you know, there's a big bomb that goes off, or there's a bunch of soldiers that storm, you know, the field and or, you know, invade a country or whatever. You got blindsided. We all know that. It is shocking. We all know that. Nobody gives a shit. Once you realize that nobody gives a shit about your case, except somebody like me when I'm helping you, nobody cares except you. You created these kids. Be accountable and go to war over these kids that you created. It's not their fault that you had sex with a crazy chick. Now go to war and go rescue them from the crazy person while enduring the pain. That's life.